Welcome back everyone, welcome to another Pokemon reaction video. Can't believe I'm doing this, but anyway, we're going to be doing 15 worst mistakes you didn't know in Pokemon. And I'm going to leave my new song link down below if you want to stream with you. So, let's begin.
From James's huge melons doing this to Ash eating soup with a fork. These are 50 mistakes that Pokemon producers need to apologize for. Starting off with one of the craziest mistakes.
Pikachu.
Did you know that Ash had 2 Pikachus? I'm not kidding.
What?
The animator either mistakenly pressed copy-paste or he cloned poor Pikachu on purpose. Damn, isn't 1 Pikachu enough for Ash already? Apparently not, because check out how he lifts Larvitar like it is lightweight. Do you know how much this Pokemon weighs? A whopping 159 pounds! He lifted it as if it was 15 pounds. Okay, Superman, I see you. Here, Ash is holding up a Hippopotas and Pikachu as he climbs up a cliff with one arm. Mind you, Hippopotas weighs 109 pounds, and Pikachu weighs another 13 pounds. And in another episode, he even carries Hippopotas on his head. With a wide smile on his face and not even a strain on his muscles, he
That's
lifts up Pignite, who
insane.
weighs a whopping 120 pounds. I wouldn't want to mess with Ash. I mean, check out those muscles. But let's now pause for a moment and watch
Yeah.
this scene from episode 18. Warning, you are definitely not ready for this. Come on. Why did they do this? It's a kids show, not some stuff for grown-ups. I mean, I know this was back in the 90s, but still. Of course, after a couple of months, this episode got banned because of this scene. If that wasn't enough harm to 90s kids, Pokemon went ahead to send 1,000 children to the ICU. You see, because of the 38th episode's flashing lights, many children in Japan experienced epi attacks and were hospitalized. Imagine the anger of the parents of those affected children. But
Well, here.
But that mistake was not as big of a mistake as Team Rocket's salute. This was low-key insensitive considering the time it aired. Thank goodness they corrected it. Even more troubling than the salute controversy is the incident where a Golbat trading card had a very inappropriate sign incorporated into its design. It's also truly baffling how something like that managed to pass through multiple quality checks, let alone Jinx's original design. Yeah, Jinx originally had a black face, but was changed to purple due to obvious reasons, if you know what I mean. So far, the mistakes I have revealed are plain as day and could be noticed by anyone. As we progress, I will reveal mistakes that are literally impossible to notice. For now, let's just move on to those ones that require just a little bit more attention to notice. Like the brim of Ash's cap changing from red to white, his extra finger, his green gloves disappearing mysteriously, and him saying this.
I'll save Chikorita for later.
I think he meant to say he would save Cyndaquil for later, because Chikorita was so unavailable for later. Not only Ash, but Brock also fell victim to these mistakes.
These donuts are great. Jelly-filled are my favorite.
Jelly-filled donuts? I think he meant to say rice balls.
Both of Ash's Pokemon are water types, and they're totally weak against fire types.
I'm pretty sure he meant to say electric types, not water types. Remember, you need to pay a little bit attention to spot these mistakes? Now observe. Did you notice them? Poliwag is mistakenly labeled and referred to as Poliwrath, and Geodude is mistakenly labeled and referred to as Graveler. Damn, how does someone make such obvious mistakes? Not only have Pokemon names been mistaken, their colors have also changed at some point. Brock's purple Crobat changes color and emotion to blue in this episode, and apparently Growlithe turns into Arcanine.
Arcanine! Flamethrower!
This is an Arcanine, not this imposter. At least I knew that, but I didn't know where the hell Jessie kept her feet. At least the animators could have just zoomed in a bit. There, I fixed it. Jessie's feet are not the only missing body parts in this anime. Zoe also had a whole arm chopped off, and you need to watch episode 500 in slow motion to actually catch this mistake. In the same episode, when Zoe's Glameow is fighting Weasel, Zoe tells Glameow to use Fury Swipes to protect against Weasel's Sonic Boom. Glameow strikes 6 times instead of the usual 2 to 5. In Pokemon Advanced Generation, episode 166, Curbing the Crimson and Tide, the drawings on May Squirtle's face changes. This is before, and this is after May goes to the Pokemon Center. That's kind of weird if you ask me. Anyways, things are getting spicier because we are moving into the mistakes that are almost impossible to spot. Only true Pokemon trainers can spot these. Like this spelling of Grand Festival being Grand Festival. Not to mention the many wrong answers in the Trainer's Choice segment.
Okay, trainers, if you chose Arbok, you were right. Shabak!
The correct answer is none. Seviper doesn't evolve. Which Pokemon would last longer against a psychic attack?
Okay, trainers, if you chose Teddiursa, you were right.
I think they meant to say Puchaina, because it is a dark type, so it is immune to psychic attacks. Best choice to battle Ludicolo?
If you chose Camerupt, you were right.
Wrong. Mightyena and Duskull stand a better chance. But wait a minute. Not only did they get the answer to this totally wrong, they didn't spell Fortress right as well. And speaking of misspelled Pokemon, they also misspelled Flaffy. Not one, not two, but 3 times. Come on. All they had to do was add one more F. In the 25th episode of the anime, there's a Pokeball with an advertisement for the Pokemon League. But instead of Pokemon, they spelled Pockemon. And they spelled League as Leag.
Trainers, which one of these Pokemon is the best choice to battle Tyrone?
Pause for a minute. Let's zoom in on Nuzleaf a bit. That's not Nuzleaf, that's Celio.
Trainers, which one of these Pokemon is the best choice to battle Meditite?
Again? That's not Nuzleaf, that's Beautifly. This is what Nuzleaf looks like. How did they get this so wrong? Okay, now we are down to beyond impossible to spot mistakes in Pokemon. These are as hard to spot as it is to catch all the Pokemon. I hope you're ready to get your mind blown away, because Ash too got his mind blown away at some point. His mouth split into 2. Yep, and this happened in the Pokemon movies Victini and Zekrom and Victini and Reshiram. Just before Victini reveals itself, Ash asks Victini if it lent him its powers. When Ash says this, his lips do not move with the rest of his mouth. Rather, it splits to accommodate 2D and 3D. I guess this is one of those optical illusion thingies, huh? In the English dub of Mewtwo Strikes Back, Pokemon were called by names that were not their own.
Hurricane winds are a breeze for Pidgeotto here.
That's Pidgeot, not Pidgeotto.
There goes Alakazam.
And it's Scyther, not Alakazam, for God's sake. Poor kids, the people responsible for this dub said they did this on purpose as an Easter egg for kids to find. Damn, I haven't heard that one before. At another point in the movie, Fergus claims that all his Pokemon are water types.
All my Pokemon are water type.
But he actually has a Nidoqueen, which is a poison ground type Pokemon. Either he didn't know or he was lying. But it wouldn't be the first time I caught a liar in the Pokemon anime. I caught Flint telling lies too. You see, in season 13, episode 8, Flint sparks the fire. When Flint is telling Ash his backstory, young Flint's Infernape was still a Chimchar. But when he tells the same story 15 episodes later, a younger Flint's Infernape is a Monferno. This had me thinking, do Infernapes undergo reverse evolution? Or was this just a continuity error? I know, right? It doesn't make sense. Another one that blew my mind was when Jinx uses Ice Punch, but Prima incorrectly ordered her to use Ice Beam in the dub.
Ice Beam attack!
And in the first episode of Pokemon, there's a small animation mistake when Ash opens his Pokédex for the first time. The Pokédex is missing its usual directional buttons, which are seen in the rest of the series. This just low-key symbolizes how the first season of Pokemon was just operating on vibes. And in the same episode, I sure remember Ash running into Professor Oak's lab in his PJs. So tell me why in the movie Forever Celebi, they recalled him running to the lab in his regular outfit. And this was not even the first time they made this mistake. They also repeated it in the movie Pokemon Heroes when Brock was narrating the story of how Ash met Pikachu. Something's definitely not right here. There were even mistakes in the very first episode as well. Would you look at that? Come on! The least they could do is give my man's NPC-001 his eyeballs. And the least the Pokemon movie Mewtwo Returns could do was not make this horrible mistake. In the movie, you can spot 2 tiny Pokemon that are meant to be baby versions of cloned Pokemon. However, there's a puzzling issue here. Nidoqueen, which was cloned, cannot breed and is only female. So, how did the cloned Nidoqueen manage to produce baby Nidoqueen without Nidoran or Nidorina? But that mistake is not as mind-blowing as the one I discovered in the 10th episode. Here, Ash is hanging his green bag, and a few seconds later, it is nowhere to be found. Could it be that it disappeared, or they forgot to color this green? They know how to color what shouldn't be green, like this poor Weedle from the 2nd episode. And because this Weedle is colored green, it now resembles a Caterpie. Finally, a mistake that ruins the very concept of Pokemon. Animals. The Pokemon world is enchanting and peculiar, teeming with all kinds of Pokemon across its regions. But there's a conspicuous absence in this world: regular animals. In the Pokemon universe, Pokemon take the place of animals, leaving no room for creatures as we know them. This makes it particularly odd when genuine animals from our world occasionally appear. For instance, you can even hear birds tweeting in the background, and non-Pokemon fish can be seen swimming in tanks at places like the Cerulean Gym. But the thing that really blows my mind are real-life foods that can contain meat products, such as hamburgers and chicken, that can be seen very often. Where did they get the meat from, huh? Where? Tell me, where? Unless they... Wait a minute. Oh my god! They couldn't possibly do that to their Pokemon! I also think that you'll be making a huge mistake if you don't subscribe to my channel right now and like this video, because I've put over 100 hours into making this video. Oh, and if you want to see Easter eggs in the Pokemon anime, do not check out this video.
That's the end of this video. I'll see you all there, guys.